Let's face it, there's the goods and the bads for being a recruiter during COVID. Let's talk about it. Check out this video now. Hey, welcome to the Millionaire Recruiter. I'm Brianna Rooney, your Millionaire Recruiter. If you haven't seen this channel before, that's right, it's about making you the next Millionaire Recruiter. So, today's topic is something I probably should have done a little bit ago, recruiting during COVID. It's definitely a different climate, and there's some good things about it and there's some bad things about it and there's some just really hard things about it. So let's just forget about that. Life has changed as we know it, that there's other stresses with kids. That's all separate, okay? We're gonna take that out of the equation for this particular video because we all know that. But when it comes to recruiting, there is a lot of moving parts here. So let's start with the bad, because I always like to get bad news before I have good news. So the bad thing, obviously the heartache that you're talking to these candidates who have been laid off. It can be draining because you have to be their rainbow, you have to be positive, you have to let them know that this is a good climate for them. So that can get a little draining, although if you're in tech, I think it's a little bit easier now than it was before, but it's still draining. So don't forget that you have a heart. I know that there's a lot going on, even for yourself, but you do have to have those moments to say, I'm really sorry what happened. The good news is you're really good at what you do. I love your resume. I have some options for you. Done. Positive spin. Love it. Another bad thing is, and this could also be a good thing, there's a lot of people looking. So this is the moment where for your clients, the clients are still looking for, top candidates. So they're not going to want just anyone and everyone right now. Their inboxes are getting flooded with resumes too, just like yours is. So you still do have to be really good at going through who's a fit, who's not. I do know that those are those times where you're going to get resumes and you're like, this person's so close. I love their personality, and that's still okay. Just don't make those exceptions all the time. Make a true exception, and this is the moment where you have to take the emotions out of it. And I know that we are people and that's hard to do, but you still have a job to do. You still have a job to uphold to your client. And if you are going to lower your standards for them, they're not going to be happy and they're not going to be your client for that much longer. So think about that. Again, it's very time consuming for you, time consuming for your client. It's a lose-lose situation. You cannot help everybody. I'm going to say that just one more time. You cannot help everybody. This has happened a lot throughout the years of me being a recruiter. I do have my favorites. I've even had family members being like, can you help me? I can't. What I do is very niche, and I need very niche individuals, and has to be cream of the crop. My clients expect that. And so that's the standards I have to uphold. So, and it's hard. It's really hard to do. Another negative I think that COVID has really brought on is that clients are even pickier. So this just kind of piggybacks as to what I just said, that you're gonna have so many people reach out to you and pull you in all different directions, but so will your clients. And what we're witnessing right now, which I think is kind of crazy because it's the fourth quarter, people, but we have a couple clients right now who are getting ultra picky. They have two really good candidates for a role, and they're like, well, maybe you should send me a couple more. So that's gonna backfire, and it's gonna really, that's gonna really bite them in the butt. I shouldn't be laughing because it bites me in the butt, but that's what's gonna happen. So that is another bad thing that COVID brought on, is that because it's COVID, everyone thinks that there's an endless supply of really good people that are available, and that's just not true. That was true when it first happened, and those companies that took advantage of it really took advantage of it, and they did a great job. We have some clients that did. But now you can't really be that picky. There's still a fight for candidates, absolutely, and there's some really great offers being set forth. So offers are being declined. It's crazy. So that's the bad. If your client is not, over it's COVID time right now, and they're trying to be picky like that, or I should say, it's like a choosy thing, I guess. But anyways, I'm just gonna stick with picky. Your client's being too picky, and they need to go with who they would have hired, whether it was COVID or not, and go with their gut. And you have to really, really work with them on this and scare them. Show them what you've seen from other clients. Show them how long it can be till these roles could get filled. It's a disaster. As it gets closer to the end of the year, it gets harder and harder and harder. Okay, so that's the bad. Let's go to good, because there's a lot of really good things going on. The good is there are a lot of candidates, and that, you know what, candidates have realized recruiters really could do me a favor. I think that since I'm in tech in San Francisco, so like it's really well known that everyone uses recruiters, but if you're in other areas that maybe you weren't so well known, I hope you're getting some love right now, because people need you. And I think it's really exciting, and to be needed always feels really good. Making money feels really good, but to have that extra thing of need is just an amazing feeling. I think, as you know, that recruiting can change a lot of people's lives, including your own. But during times of need, it's just even more so, and it's a really cool feeling. So that's a good thing of COVID. Another good thing of COVID is that, especially if you've just starting recruiting and just kind of figuring stuff out, you're being able to have lots of conversations. So because there's so many candidates, you are gonna be able to practice. And that's what recruiting is all about. And you know, I have my 6-week crash course on the millionairerecruiter.com, and it's an amazing course, and it jumpstarts things. But what's really cool that there's so many people looking is then you actually have data to go off of. You have practice conversations, you understand like the movement, and you're trying to figure out your day, and it's fast, and you have to hold yourself to schedules. And once you learn that right away, I think it's a really positive thing. I'll hit you with some bad. If you are not a recruiter that was used to being super, super, super busy, and you don't have good time management skills, guess what? You better figure that out immediately. Because you're going to find yourself missing candidates. You're going to be underwater if you don't have a good tracker with your candidates on the people that get back and people that give you resumes, people that are interviewing, stuff like that. If you don't have a good way to do that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And so what's cool about recruiting is that every week shouldn't feel like a new week. It should feel like you're building momentum. But you have to have time management and be organized. So that's a thing. I would say another bad thing with COVID is, unfortunately, a lot of recruiters are out of work, and they might still be out of work. I'm talking about internal recruiters, not outside recruiters. I think we're all doing, knock on wood, we're all doing pretty well because there's a lot of need. So the companies get rid of course, the people that are involved with hiring first, because they weren't hiring, they were firing. And so they're like top on the totem pole right there. So the issue with that is companies are not equipped and have a process without their internal recruiters. So if you're a contingency recruiter working with a client who has fired all of their internal resources, you're dealing directly with the hiring managers, which in my opinion is amazing and how it always worked. However, they are not organized, they're overwhelmed, they have a lot of other jobs to do. So the plus here is that you get to be their savior. You get to organize things the way you know how, which benefits you, right? Because now you're handling the situation, and if you're controlling, like maybe I am, then that will be good for you. So this is a moment that you can take charge. And again, this is another moment that you are just thrown into, and you're just gonna have to move, and figure it out. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error, because that's just how it works. But again, if you take my course, you're gonna understand, or watch some of my videos every Thursday at noon, you'll understand the way an interview process is supposed to go. And it is not just the actual interviews, it's also, from start to finish. What's the timeline? What does that look like? So definitely be prepared and do your homework. It's really important. So definitely good luck with that. And does anyone else have any good, yay, it's COVID to be a recruiter? Again, it's like such a negative, but you always have to turn a negative into a positive. That's just how it works. So hopefully you yourself are doing that as a recruiter, and I would love to, hear the comments below as to what positives you've had. One more for me, and just personally, and I think that this does apply with recruiting, is it really like opens your eyes as to what truly is important and what you like about your job, what you don't like about your job, and what direction you want to go moving forward, because it really kind of like pushes you back a little bit and makes you decide, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm good at. And then also it's good to collaborate too. So I think that's really great. And I think that as a community, recruiters are coming together a little bit more. So that's super exciting. And I don't know if that's a coincidence or if that just happened with COVID, because all of a sudden our industry internally was hit pretty hard. So hopefully everyone's getting back to work. Everyone is going through this fourth quarter and being well organized. So I will see you next week every Thursday at noon. And don't forget that money is just the vessel that gets you to do all the amazing things that you want to do. So go do it. Happy recruiting.